Uh, we've got some great panelists here in, Puneet, who represents one of the largest chains of schools in the country and is working not only in school education, but also in developing technologies. Biswa, who's from Google. Of course, Google doesn't need any introduction. And Jairaj from Convigenius, who I was talking to last week. And he told me now 800,000 schools in the country have access to his tech solutions. I said 800,000. Did you say the number right? Are you talking about the number of students or schools? So yes, he was talking about the number of schools who can access his solutions. So really high-powered panel here. And I'd like to begin with a simple question, just to set some context on where we're going. What do you all think schools will become like? So if you just shut your eyes and walked into a school in 2000, say 28, 3 years is now a very long time. If I were to ask you that question 5 years ago, I would have probably said 2030. But let's say 2028, Puneet, let's begin with you. What do you think schools will look like, feel like, sound like?
First of all, I just want to start by saying the change that AI is bringing into the world today is transformative. This is not like the invention of the calculator or, education technology, LMS or something like that. This change is truly transformation. And the change, I think, I have to look at it from a school point of view in three. One, the student, the teacher, and for school owners like us. I think the student is going to become smarter than ever before, right? Students going to have access to this technology that is equalizing everybody. So today, the smart student in the classroom, the merit student, and the student who's average, there won't be much difference between them going forward. Because a student who's not doing so well in class will have the access to technology that's going to make him or her write better, read better, learn better, and it's going to be personalized, right? Today, we truly don't understand the meaning of personalization, but AI is going to tell us what personalization really means. Second is for the teacher. I think teachers have to really embrace technology, have to embrace artificial intelligence. I think the greatness of the classroom is the way the teacher delivers the classroom. And today, teachers can be far more prepared. They can use better tools. They can deliver the lectures much better. So it's up to the teacher now how they can use AI going forward. Lastly, for us, the school owners, right? We've been doing a lot of work, which we'll talk about a little bit later in this talk, about how to use technology better. And we've been talking about it for decades now, right? Big companies have come and gone, and we've truly not seen transformative changes inside the classroom. But I think this is the start of something big, and I've traveled across the world over the last 6 months, and I've seen that there have been multiple changes that have happened inside the classroom. So for school owners like us, we have to evolve very, very quickly in pace with the way students and teachers are going to change, or else we'll not be, we'll be outdated very quickly.
Sure. Biswa, what do you say?
Yeah, hello. I think everyone wants their life to be better in future. I think that's how the broader framework is. So just taking what he said. So the three sort of pillars of education, right? So educators, students, and schools. So what are their existing challenges? Like from a tech company, what do we think their bigger challenges? If I go back to when I was a kid and I was a student, not all of my batchmates were really motivated to study. I think the motivation is the biggest challenge for a large number of students. So my hope and optimism is that changes. The medium of instruction or the way teaching happens becomes more interactive, becomes more engaging, becomes more multimodal, so that every kid knows and every kid is motivated to study. The second is educator. So the biggest hypothesis that we are starting with is that they just don't have time, and they don't have time to spend time with students, which is what the teaching job is. And what if I think we can reduce that a lot of work they are doing, manual work and I think non-teaching related work with technology, with AI. And finally, my hope for schools and administrators is that they think about impact and data as cornerstones of taking decisions. So more data-driven, more outcome, more impact-oriented decision-making. Yeah.
Yeah, fundamentally, I think that the school as an ethos has a value, which is community, right? So we were all as a community learning together. Then that ethos is only going to accelerate. The reason it's going to accelerate is because earlier we had Google search or any search platform where you could get immediate on-demand response to your inquiry, your question, and that would lead to learning. But now you'll have agents, right? You'll have co-pilots of multiple different forms and fashion. When I say forms, today our AI has the ability to see, hear, and also text with you. All three formats. You can just open up the lens and you can show what you're seeing, right? Now on that, if you put a lens of, say, a history teacher, you just put a history learning outcome guide, then your AI becomes a history teacher. So it can give you the history of the glass in front of you, how the glass was created, right? You can also put a physics lens on top of it. It will tell you the dimensions. This is the shapes, right? So with one vision lens, right, you're able to give AI different agents and avatars just on a flip, right? It can also be a biology teacher, right? It can be anything for you. Now, the power of that is that you're inspiring curiosity and inquiry. You're not just doing that, you're also giving them a child, a companion, who is non-judgmental. You can ask stupid questions to the AI, right? And not just that, you can also build nudging, right? Choice architecture. Now, the kind of responses that the AI will give you can guide the child to ask the next question, which drives something called an inquiry-based learning, where you're inquiring and you're learning together. You see AI democratizing, you feel equity between AI and human being. You don't feel the judgment. You can ask them anything, right? And that data, when it goes back to the teacher gets personalized guide on what your children are really thinking, how they're learning, what their misconceptions are, what their common errors are. So that transactional data sharing between teacher and student can really power and improve the school further. But not just that, I see AI being participant in a community creation. Now we are talking about communities where it's not just teachers and students anymore. There are teachers, students, and characters. You can have characters not just for a specific subject, but also to a competency. You can have a cartoon character called Division Dada. You can give it personality, right? Now you're actually talking to concepts, right? So that drives personalization to an exponential level in terms of learning. Now when you bring that, integrate that with teacher efficiency in terms of AI tools, improving teacher efficiency, integrate that to governmental efficiencies, policy level efficiencies, and connect metadata for teachers, student, parents, communities, district education officers. That brings data-driven transformation. And it keeps improving, right? You'll have generational improvements of products. So when you see 3 to 5 years down the line, how schools will change, we will have a people plus AI kind of a combination, a community of people plus AI. And you'll have AI specialists, AI tutors, teacher trainers, different AI manpower. And we don't know, maybe they'll get taxed as well.
That's interesting. So one thing clearly is that we finally have the opportunity for teachers or machines to be able to meet the student exactly where the student is, to be able to challenge and support kids where they are versus treating them like a group. That personalization that is humanly impossible at times with real-time assessment and everything, that'll be possible. Yeah. Second is teachers' life becoming easier. But one important question that raises is in the kind of education system that I've been in, the perceived role of schools has been largely content delivery. Right? That's the primary responsibility. Parents come to us expecting that they will be able to handle all of this content well, and kids will be able to then write exams, do well, and go wherever they have to go. Yeah. Let me ask you a controversial question then. Will we really need people for content delivery 5 years from now? pure content delivery. I'm not talking socio-emotional growth. I'm talking pure content delivery. We're already seeing reading AI tutors where with minimal intervention, a child can learn how to read.
I think, Manit, if there was any doubt, that doubt is clear now. Schools cannot be content delivery machines anymore. There's no doubt about it, right? So the click of a button, even earlier you could go onto Google and you could search for content if you really wanted to. But now with the advent of artificial intelligence, it's literally content that's getting personalized to your capability and your capacity. So content delivery is completely out of the question. So we have to actually think of the role of the teacher going forward, which is a much larger, much bigger question here, right? What is the teacher going to be doing if not going onto the board and drawing and explaining what's there in a textbook, right? What is a teacher going to be doing? It's a very, very large question, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. Schools are here to stay. I've gone to many conferences, people say, oh, now schools are gone, everybody's going to go home. No, schools are here to stay. There is no school. None of our schools have shut down post-COVID. Our enrollments have gone up. We're at an all-time high. We've hit 600,000 students in a classroom. None of that has changed. But how we're delivering in the classroom is evolving.
Is evolving, and so you're saying that content delivery, it should be easy to outsource that to machines, but schools will have to think about how they're going to engage kids and parents. Otherwise, of course, the day center aspect of the school always remains.
Absolutely.
Vishwa, quick word on that, 20
Yeah,
seconds.
I'm not an expert, so and I will not speculate on this. I think teachers are incredibly important for education. They have been for last, 400 years. And multiple generational technological shifts have happened. So they have stood the test of time. And I think as a technology company, I feel it's our job to enable them. It's our job to help them. Technology, like any other medium, imagine books or whatever, they have enabled teaching. They have made it more accessible to more students. At one point of time, not everyone had the luxury to go to school. Now everyone, now. So I think the next luxury is whether they can get the best quality education, most hyper-personalized education, and whether the kids are really interested in education. That's what technology provides the pathway to succeed, but through teachers and with teachers, and that's what our
Absolutely. I mean, I'm not saying that teachers will be unimportant, but I guess what we're discussing right now is can they stay married to the roles of content deliverers, or can they move beyond, or should they move beyond?
So I think academic instruction delivery is definitely getting disrupted, and it's not 3 years down the line, it's actually now, right? Now you can actually have AI tutors teaching you. You can actually have a video call experience with AI tutors today. So conceptually, yes, instruction delivery, content instruction delivery is here and now, it's getting disrupted. But that does not mean that's the only role that a teacher is having in the classroom.
Great.
Right. The teacher brings in an important role, and that is the whole aspect of the emotional quotient, the affective domain. Teaching skill sets of higher order thinking, persuasion, negotiation, creativity, right? There are a lot of aspects that you learn in school that I don't think you can just have a one-on-one experience with AI replicating that. It's the essence of, again, the community, right? How do we imagine a community where you have AI tutors along with teachers on the panel, interactive flat panel in front of you, or on the mobile device? That's a whole different experience where you have a community where instructional delivery is divided between the overall higher order thinking skills that the teacher is bringing in, because teachers also knowing where each child is. That data is available with the teacher. When you have a classroom transacting with AI, you will have transactional data coming out, and that transactional data will give you potential reports in terms of how you cohort a classroom, who needs what kind of attention, what kind of questions do I ask this child, right, at that level of granularity. So it's about the teacher and in terms of how do you now take it to the next level, right? It will actually improve the paradigm
How do you leverage it to
instructional
build
delivery.
more than just that content delivery? So let me come back to you again, Jairaj. You've been working with so many schools, the government at large. If you're seeing this vision clearly that a lot of the content delivery can, if not outsourced, be supported by technology, and the teacher's role is possibly moving more into a coach, somebody who's setting goals, somebody who's monitoring, somebody who's holding the child accountable, providing the right amount of motivation and all of that, and focusing on aspects of socio-emotional learning, building a community, and all that. So where are you in terms of where is Convergenius? What have you done so far as steps towards this journey?
Yeah, so we have a platform of many such AI use cases. I would say if we were to broadly break it out, we have a platform where we are solving for efficiency in administration, capturing inputs like attendance, tracking, basic inputs. Then we go into assessments where we do measurement of learning, and that there's a lot of AI involved there in terms of potentially doing assessments, solving for assessments in OCR or oral reading fluency model. So multiple AI use cases there in assessments. Then there's adaptive learning, right? There's personalized adaptive learning where you have your tutors, your teacher assistants, where you're adapting to the particular stakeholder. Then you can solve on other administrative tasks. Those are the most simplest to do.
And are you beginning to see some shift there? Is there some data that you're seeing where outcomes are improving? Again, when I talk to a lot of the tech companies, I hear a lot about making the teacher's life easier, and I ask them that question then, okay, you're making the teacher's life easier, but is it amounting to better learning or not? You can make my life easier and I can just have more extra time, right? Or I can use that time to do something sensible with it. So are you seeing, just in purely terms of data, are you seeing some progress?
Yeah, systemically, if you would see now, if you compare years of learning outcome, large-scale intervention reports, you would see that the maximum amount of outcomes would be seen in the foundational literacy and numeracy domain. Because in the foundational literacy and numeracy, it's easy at the early years to develop cognitive capabilities, and access to such interventions will lead to large state-level changes. And you'll see the reports, I mean, not just the ASA report, but many other reports coming forward. You'll see drastic changes in terms of the FLN part first, and then that will progress in grade 6 to 8 as well.
And you're beginning to see some of that now
we see that
in
now.
the data.
We see that now.
Right.
You see the reports now.
Right. Biswa?
Yeah, I think you referred, but essay report just came last week or last 2 weeks, and you can see like strong gains in both literacy and numeracy across India. And there have been a lot of focus on foundational literacy and numeracy. I want to give like two examples from my experience. I have been a part of a team called Read Along, a literacy product. And for 5 years now, we have been measuring outcomes and impact internally. And I think we crossed a milestone last year. 1 million kids improved their reading fluency by 40% just using Read Along. Globally, it's a global product. So that means I think it is possible. And I think the next step for us was to how do we enable it for teachers? And we did that through a classroom integration. So what does that mean is that a teacher can give a reading assignment based on individual students' reading level. So Jairaj is at, I'm just going to use English, so there is a Lexile scale. So Jairaj is a X Lexile scale, Puneet is at a different Lexile scale. The teacher knows which Lexile scale they are in and can give reading assignment, can track their accuracy, fluency, and see whether they are going or not going, and based on zone of proximal development, can further assign. So that's what basically technology and as an enabler can provide. Right? I'll give you a second example and I will pass on. The second example is on that theme where I think technology can save teachers time which they are spending otherwise. All of us are talking about like AI, and that's the sort of like promise, but Gemini Education and like others as well, we have been able to create solutions so teacher can just like in seconds create lesson plans, create quizzes, just like input grade, input topic, here is a quiz, and you can assign. And you're already inside that learning management system called Google Classroom, and you assign, which would have taken 30 minutes or 45 minutes or an hour before. So that's what I think, like, those are the two things from a technology side we are trying to help. Yeah.
What do you say? Where are you? And you're working on both ends.
So I'm obviously not as big as Google or not a fully dedicated tech company like Conway Genius, but we have a 150-member tech team internally, which is fairly large by any standards. And I'll tell you...
Larger than most EdTech companies.
Yes, that is true. And I'll tell you 2 or 3 things that we've absolutely cracked, transformational, with our internal team. And one of them is descriptive exam solution. So today, I can take a photocopy of a handwritten answer paper, upload it onto my system, which I built internally. It's graded it, given the marks, given the solution, also suggestions on what, where the child did wrong, and what chapter you should study to make yourself better. All this
Going
done
beyond very good, excellent, needs
that's
more
done.
work, to specific feedback. I think that's the power that we already have.
Yes.
I mean, yeah.
Teachers never need to again correct a descriptive exam, is my assumption. This is 99% accurate, right? This is developed
Right.
internally.
Or you can train the model, the teacher can work with it for some time, check it for 6 months, and then,
Even better.
yeah, even better.
Second one is the clear one, which is doubt solving, right? You can upload a chapter or you can upload your entire textbook, and now overnight you have a doubt solving engine at 1 fraction of the cost. So we've currently solved in the last 6 months 100,000 doubts from 6th to 12th grade at a cost of few lakh rupees, which is nothing compared to the scale and the impact it has on the ground. So these are 2 things. Third, in administration, forms. You know how many forms we have to fill when teacher comes to school? Now all we're doing is that parent fills, scan, gets uploaded, goes, sits on the system, all the data analyst comes out. So even administration can change with the advent of this technology. So that's what I said. It is truly transformational what's happening.
How many EdTech companies in this room? The show of hands. Okay. Any schools? There are a few schools. Everybody else is an investor? Okay. Okay. So tell me, Puneet, as a school owner, someone who runs 700 schools, over 700 schools, what are you missing? What do you wish if an education technology company walked into your door today? What is it that they can offer to you that will absolutely delight you and you'd say, let's go?
Very tough question, Manit, but I'll tell you what I don't want to see. I'll answer this differently, right? What I don't want to see is something that I can do on my own. I don't want to see a doubt solver. I don't want to see somebody coming and telling me I will correct your question paper. I don't want to see, here is my content engine, a teacher can make a lesson plan. Sorry, I know you said that before, but a lesson plan. All this I can do on my own. What I want to see is something that, and I told my product team also the same thing. Go through the daily life of a teacher, okay, or a school principal, or a vice principal. Once you go through the daily life of the teacher, you see what technology can make their lives better. We cannot replace the teacher. There have been models in the past where the teacher is gone, it's going to be a computer. No, the teacher is going to be there. But the life of a teacher is going to change. If you can think, if any of the companies here can think more strategically than what you are doing today, which is just making solutions for specific problems, approach it differently. Think about how you can build solutions that last and make lives of people running schools better. So you got to do that deep thinking within yourself, which I don't see a large number of EdTech companies doing. So strategically, I'm trying to change the direction.
So would you say, think about what a teacher was meant to do, what they can do, what they're being able to do right now, what part of it can get outsourced to technology, and how do I enable the other parts with some level of technology so that they can actually deliver what a guru was supposed to deliver, or
absolutely,
in that sense.
You put it better than me, yes.
So just think about the potential of the teacher, and rather than offering convenience, think
no
about
more
it
convenience, not interested in convenience.
Yeah, convenience is available on ChatGPT and Gemini. Enough of it. I mean, right. So, Biswa and Jairaj, and Biswa, maybe you can go first. you know, I talk to school leaders across the country all the time, and there's still a lot of uncertainty around AI. I see that not a lot of them are giving the kind of time they should to this, and I keep telling them, 50% of your time needs to go here. And they said, no, I don't have the time. I'm still caught up in so many issues. And there's a lag also. There's a deluge of products. There's just so many of them, they don't even know where to begin or how to assess a product. And there's a huge time lag between where technology is moving and how soon they're getting on the bus at all. So what's your advice to schools? What do you think they need to, what do you wish as a tech company for us to realize that vision of truly personalized education? What do you need them to do right now?
Yeah, to answer your question, I would say that the foundational models itself are evolving and continuously evolving, right? There's a whole wave that every week you see something new coming. And building simple models on top on the application layer is going to get disrupted one way or the other, right? So as an EdTech company, if we are trying to build an application on top of foundational models, you are going to get disrupted, right? So that comes back to, what value we can add through tech on the top of foundational model, right? The incremental value add, which schools will be willing to pay, right? That is completely driven by learning outcomes, right? You'll have to be able to create certain AI agents and AI personalities or whatever tools which perform incrementally better. It comes back to why a Narayana is a Narayana. You get the ranks, right? So that's the fundamentals still remain, that your AI agents need to perform way better than the others.
But it takes a while to become a Narayana, right? It takes a while to produce those results or even to demonstrate those outcomes. If I were to just, it's a little bit off my question, but how does an EdTech company going into a school convince them that everybody's saying they're going to improve outcomes? But anyways, I mean, something to think about for all of us. But coming back to my question, Biswa, what do you wish schools could be doing more of?
Yeah, so I think I'll go back to your first question of this afternoon. So when we three answered, I felt all of us kind of answered the same thing. We didn't prepare together. That means, I think, like, even though we kind of represent and have different backgrounds from technology and educator, we have a very similar future in mind. If we have a similar future in mind, then we are kind of co-creators, depends on who is taking the primary creation, secondary creation. My ask is to basically be that co-creator and give enough, like, basically give each other trust and benefit and, grace. So do try technology, and technology has to lean into pedagogy, learning science, and educators' life, as Puneet rightly said. And if we do that, and if we give each other that trust, then I think we can go into that common direction that we started with.
Possibly communities of schools and associations could come together and say, okay, there are 50 companies that are trying to do something good. Let's test their products with kids, because unless we do that, we're not going to know what we're doing wrong, and we're not going to make that progress that we can. So partake in this change, participate in this change. Fantastic. One last question. Something that I worry about when I think about content getting outsourced, when I think about AI counselors, when I think about AI companions, and when I think about already what has happened with mobile devices and addiction, I'm a little worried that the machines are going to be so good. You can be vulnerable with them, you can talk to them, they'll never say the wrong thing, they'll never be harsh, they'll never be judgmental, they'll always be encouraging you, all of that. Why would a child want to talk to a human 20 years from now?
I think we are absolutely running short, but I'll get in a quick word. I really want to get a quick word on this because, see, I'll tell you, same thing happened with Instagram. We all thought it's going to disrupt our lives. It did. We didn't manage it well. I'm only saying let's manage the transformation that's coming very well. That's the fundamental. We have to look at it like we have to manage it well.
Right. So I think we're sitting at the cusp of a huge revolution. And I don't know about humans, but I was telling them that humanity can definitely get extinct if we don't act well enough as educators, as EdTech companies, as humanity at large. We really need to do something right to ensure that we leverage technology sensibly. And thank you very much for all the work that you all are doing in the space of schools, in the space of creating technology. I truly, truly believe it is going to democratize and personalize education. And I'm sure we'll figure out a way to do it sensibly. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks.